We should see different routes in this one. Meteorwave, I believe, still runs Gemini first. He's always been a Gemini first runner. Prisi used to run Gemini, but has since switched to top. So we'll get to see a nice difference between the routes here. Prisi's PB in this game is a 34.45. He's seeded 4th overall in the tournament. Meteorwave's PB, I believe, is a 45.51. So basically the reason why you would want to start with Gemini first is because there's just like it's just such a difficult stage. To get Gemini out of the way is always a good thing. And in running Gemini first, you get a lot of practice on doing the hardest stage. That said, is a bit slower than top. My estimate probably brings it at like each route done optimally, we're probably looking at about like 8 seconds difference between the two. Which, if you're feeling comfortable with Gemini, that's not enough. As Meteorwave misses the proto skip here, that's gonna cost him some time. As you see him like watching the cutscene there, and then the other benefit of the proto skip is it actually kills the music in the stage, which for this particular game reduces a lot of slowdown. I'd say probably missing that skip ends up costing about 15 seconds. Prisi into this last screen of top. Let's see if he goes for all the jumps here. So he kind of waits out the first one. Okay, so he's playing it a little conservative here, which is wise. If you take a death there, you're looking at almost 40 seconds worth of time loss. So he just, calmly jumps over those tops, make sure he gets through deathless. The goal for this top fight here is to get a 3 cycle. He takes 14 hits from the Buster to kill. A big reason for doing top first in the first place is that he takes 2 damage from the Buster. He's one of only 2 Robot Masters that's the case for, at least in the 8 anyway. And so the other being Magnet, so that's why you tend to see Top and Magnet as like really common speed routes for this game. And so yeah, Prisi gets the 3 cycle, very nice. Basically, you can get 15 hits in those 3 cycles, so you're allowed to miss 1 shot, but beyond that, you're gonna have to wait out an extra spin. Meteorwave smartly taking damage boosts from these dragonflies, so you get knocked back the opposite direction of where you're facing. So he's using the ability of like turning around easily in midair, so he's jumping and then facing the direction he wants to get knocked, so he doesn't get hit off the block, which is a really smart, safe way to do that screen. So we see Meteorwave getting to the Gemini Buster fight here. See what strategy he goes for here. Basically, if you kind of jump and shoot at the same time, we see a lot of people go for this like little weave pattern here. You get 2 on the ground, so he's got a really good rhythm going there. And then in the second phase, he just jumps when you shoot if he's already on the ground. So jumping over him. Okay, very nice fight for Meteor. Prisi gets through the dark room. He gets into this very scary screen in Shadow Man stage. This particular screen is the reason why a lot of people are hesitant to do top first, even though it's faster. Ooh, okay. And so here, he's trying to hit him with top spin and then go all the way across in one jump. He mostly had to turn back on all those jumps there, but he survives it, so that's good. A death there doesn't cost a ton of time. It's probably like 20 seconds, but depending on whom you're racing, that's quite a lot of time. Very nice shadow fight. Okay, so here we have Meteor doing Needle. So we're gonna see them offset by a couple stages here. Because we're gonna see Prisi go to Gemini and then to Needle. Both of them are not going to have Magnet for this screen, so we're seeing, Buster strats here. We're going to see the same thing from Prisi. Now Prisi coming up on Gemini as well. So in the top first route, these first 3 stages are just almost the entire bulk of the difficulty of this route. Once you get Top Shadow Gemini out of the way, you breathe a lot easier in the next, 5 robots. The Dock robots are particularly difficult. So no matter what route you do, once you get there, there's going to be some challenge. But yeah, in top first, once you get through this stage, you should be pretty safe. So prisi does get the proto skip. So you see he doesn't have to wait for the Proto Man cutscene here. He's gonna go for a zip here. Looks like you got it. Yep. So the way that zip works in Gemini, when you come out of your slide in like a slide tunnel like that, your head will be stuck in the ceiling for like a few frames. And so if you get hit during those frames while facing right, it'll actually zip you to the right. So prisi actually menued during those 4 frames and let the tadpole come to him while he was unteleporting. And so as soon as he came out of the menu, he got hit by the little tadpole and zipped right through. Saved a couple seconds. It's the only like really major zip that's kind of routed in. There's a lot of little ones. So prisi going for like dangerous single block slides here, but he missed one and ended up having a dragonfly coming after him. And he used his Shadow Blade to clever effect to make sure the dragonflies didn't chase him there. He gets through without death. That's a really scary screen in this speedrun. And he gets the no buffer shot jump over the Stomper. That requires really solid movement to do. That Stomper does 8 damage, so if you did it, he wouldn't be able to do... Ooh! I was going to say, he wouldn't be able to do this fight. This fight typically requires a damage boost to do quickly. But he does the... He kind of backs up into a safer fight there. Okay, so meteorwave here on Spark after taking care of Needle. For me personally, in the Gemini route, like my least favorite thing about it is having to fight Spark with Needle. It just seems like a really awkward weapon to fight him with. The people that have been doing Gemini first for a long time are probably a little bit more comfortable with it, but this is probably where a lot of the time is lost to the other routes, because as far as soft weaknesses go, fighting Spark with Needle, Needle only does 2 damage. Basically, the way the weapon weaknesses work in this game, instead of having a straight weapon weakness chain of 8, like where you could just go through a complete cycle, there's actually 2 different weapon weakness chains. You have Magnet, Hard, Top, Shadow, Spark, which is a full circle of 5, and then dying to Spark, man. See that? Yeah, that's a really difficult fight with Needle. And then you have another route, chain of 3, where you have... Sorry, did I get that right? Yeah, so then you have Snake, Snake, Gemini, and Needle. And so, starting in the Gemini Needle weakness chain, the Gemini first run then uses a soft weakness, because this isn't Sparkman's actual weakness, but Needleman does, the Needle Cannon does 2 damage. So that's his way into breaking into the rest of this chain. And then you use Spark to attack Magnet and go through that other cycle of 5. Very nice Needle fight there by prisi. Gotta be careful not to miss a laser there. So, in that particular fight, prisi went for the fast strat of just, if you take the damage boost at the proper time, you can shoot that 3rd shot while Needleman is still on the ground. And so therefore, like, you don't shoot under him when he jumps. That's something that a lot of like newer runners struggle with, is trying to time those shots. This first screen of Magnet has claimed a lot of victims. Oh, look at this sync. Now you're going to see the difference in movement between, 2 runners. One that's absolutely elite at this game, and then one who has not put quite as much time into it. And so they started this screen at the same time, and you see like the difference in getting into the proto screen. The real big deal in this game is movement. Like, people call it a mashing game, which there's a lot of mashing in it, but how fast your movement is, how much, and when I say movement, I mean how much are you sliding? The more you're sliding in this game, the faster you are. And so you can see the big difference between how much extra sliding you're doing. So, neither of these players doing Magnet, they're going to have Jet for this Yoku block screen. The slow thing about the Magnet first route is waiting out all of those little Yoku block puzzles, where we're going to see both of these players just Jet over it. And then we're going to see a slight difference in their Magnet fights with their different routes. Prisi's switching to Shadow Blade. He's Magnet will take equal damage from both Shadow and Spark. You take 7 damage. It's only 4 hits for each. Shadow is a little bit of an advantage in case Magnet goes to the ceiling. Prisi has a kind of unique fight here. Oh, never mind. Prisi made a liar out of me. I've seen him workshop a different Magnet fight, but there you see, like, when Magnet Man goes up to the ceiling, you're able to hit him with Shadow Blade, where if that happens for Meteor Wave, he'll have to wait it out. Either way, the jump pattern is slower. Let's see what he does with Spark. Okay, so he gets the shield pattern, but he misses a couple shots here, so gonna be a little careful. He can take 1 damage boost from Magnet Man here. Magnet does 6 damage. But he's playing it cautious. Now we see him finally go up to the ceiling, and there we go. Another difference we're going to see is in this Hardman screen, so we should see them both do this. Prisi having access to Shadow Blade, which is the fastest way to do that screen. You can use it on all 3 Bs. Meteor most likely going to be swapping to Magnet to kill the first 2 Bs, but then you can't use Magnet on the 3rd because you won't have enough ammo for the Hardman fight if you do, so then you switch to Coil. The differences between the two is not a ton. But Shadow is slightly faster, and I want to say a lot easier than coiling that 3rd B. Prisi having a really solid run so far. Okay, so Meteor is going to actually despawn these bees here, which is, that's probably the very first strat I would learn for this screen. If you just slide backwards after they spawn onto the screen, they'll drop their bees into nothing, and you won't have to worry about them. Nice coil. So Prisi going for pretty much all the movement tech there. He did a double slide on those little, like, snapping platforms. Very nice proto fight. Killing him on the right side there before he hits the ground is really fast. Double slides on those lengths of platform are difficult in this game because you can't jump out of your slide right away. So, like, basically, in the first 8 frames after you start your slide, if you try to jump, you won't be able to. So, doing, like, single block slides or double slides on certain lengths of platform mean your movement have to be really tight in order to have enough room to jump out. Meteor going with Gemini Laser here rather than the Buster strat we saw Prisi doing. Gemini one-shotting those dozers. Those dozers have really horrendous hitboxes. And so Gemini Laser being composed of 3 different sprites always will hit a Met Dozer. Like, even if the first shot or the second shot tanks, like, one of the 3 is going to actually hit him. So here in Snake Man stage, we see what a valuable tool Rush Jet is in this game. Like, if you were to make a menu mistake in this game, the absolute worst menu mistake you can make is going to Snake too early before you've completed Needle, because you'll see that Prisi uses Jet from the first screen all the way to the last to skip mini bosses here and to skip having to wait on clouds in the last screen. It's a lot faster to use Jet here. Ooh. Okay. So Meteor does get hit at the proper time in order to not get stunned by Hardman, so that was good. Basically, you're using health as a resource in that Hardman fight. Getting smacked by him in the correct way will not get you stun locked, and you'll be able to start attacking him again right away. So Prisi gonna jump over this second snake. There's a little bit of movement in this second screen, so basically, okay. There's one extra slide you can do there, which is kind of difficult. And then, like, getting under those pole vaulters. There's a lot of movement in Snake Man stage. Just a lot of very little things, little extra slides you can get, or, like, lag reduction strats. Prisi with a no-stop jump onto Jet there. That's actually really fast. He did spawn one of Chelny's clouds. Basically, like, when you jump off the top of Rush Jet, you screen wrap your hitbox down to the bottom. And so when you do that for the lower cloud stacks, it'll actually think that you're standing on it, and will trigger a cloud, which causes extra lag. So like when you're jumping over those cloud stacks, you want to jump lower. Prisi able to kill Snake Man while standing in the middle, so he saves a little bit of time there. After you kill a boss in Mega Man 3, you're frozen, and then you have to walk to the middle of the screen. And so, yeah, killing him in the middle makes it so you don't have to do that. Meteorwave using Gemini laser strats in top as well. That's something you'll see from top first runners. You use Gemini on like the dozers and the cats, and then you can switch to magnet for the end of it. Prisi going into his last of the 8 robots here with Sparkman. This is the one that I consider to be the easiest. As you're learning it, it's tricky. There's a couple places you can die, but there's less going on in this stage than just about anything else. See if he goes for 4 slides here. Prisi gunning for the deathless 8 robos here. Probably on like low 35 pace. Having a really solid run over there. Meteorwave has Hard Knuckle for this top man fight. We saw Prisi buster it earlier. So with Hard Knuckle you can get 2 cycles like that, so definitely save some time there. Prisi gonna kill that jump block there for lag, or lag reduction purposes, I should say. And then this last little section here, if you just go no stop, it's really difficult. This is such a hard screen casually. But if you just go underneath everything before they spawn. So it's one of those rooms where like speed strats make a casual nightmare be not that difficult. See what pattern he gets. That's the best pattern from Sparkman. I believe he got a good pattern from Snake also. But oh man. He botches it in just about the worst way imaginable. The reason why that's a good pattern is because you can kill him while standing in the middle, which we just talked about, but also when bosses die in the middle, it's faster. Because the victory fanfare doesn't start until all the explosion sprites leave the screen. So if they all die in the middle, they leave quicker. So something like a 1707 or 1708 8 robot teleport for Prisi. Again, still that's a solid run. We're looking low 35 or something for him. So we'll see if he can continue. Deathless in a race is impressive. So he's already deathless through 8. I don't have sound. Prisi's going to try to set up a music despawn here. Looks like he got it just from the pixel he was on. So you actually you kill the music by like screen transitioning on the same frame that you die, and so like it does it in a weird order. So like basically it plays the death sound before it kills you, and then it screen transitions. It's like something really strange, and so that kills the music because there's no like trigger for like basically like after you die, there's no trigger for music restarting until like you start the level again. But obviously you're continuing, so the music just stays dead until, in this case, the next thing that triggers music to start is this boss fight. So that one in this stage saves about like 3 seconds. It's pretty easy to set up. The way he set it up, there's a 10% chance you get a bad subpixel, and it doesn't kill you, but you don't get the music respawn, so you lose that time. Meteorwave avoids running out of top spin on Shadow Man. Solid fight over there. So Prisi's hoping here for a couple of small magnet refills, because by killing all those Hammer Joes, he doesn't quite have enough magnet to get through this section. Looks like you got 1. Oh no, he got 2. So yeah, he got through. That's like ideal for that section, except for the large drop that he got there at the end. You don't want health drops, and you want like a couple small magnet refills. Meteorwave going into his last of the 8, which is Snake Man. A lot of times you'll see Gemini First Runner end with Shadow. Ooh, Prisi gets the Fire Slide. That's awesome. So it's kind of subpixel based, but it also like your movement has to be good, where like you can just slide twice right away and just get under the volley of fire. So it ended up being a really good fight. He got the double hit at the end there too. The only thing really wrong with that fight is he didn't kill the boss in the middle, but it was a really fast fight. So yeah, meteor wave going and skipping these snakes with jet. It's actually possible to zip through the snakes, but it's really, really difficult to save time with. It's something we might see like one runner in the tournament do, and perhaps not even him. Prisi with a solid first screen of Doc Gemini. That's a very scary screen. Probably one of the hardest screens to learn in the game. Getting through it without taking death is very good. Prisi's gonna get a music loop though, I can guarantee that one. That's a tough jump there too. He tried to do a jump off that egg before the tadpole spawns, which requires some pretty tight timing, but just quite didn't get it. He failed it in a way where you don't lose much time. If you're slower than that, you get knocked back down, which is bad. Alright, this flash fight. Oh. Okay, he got the jump over him, which is really tough, but he missed a couple hits in there. The goal there, obviously in the middle Doc Robot fight, you want to get to the door on the right side. So some of the fights are geared around like trying to get as far right as you can while still killing the boss. So there's a strat there where like you jump over him and like shoot him while sliding away from him as you try to get to the right, which Prisi executed pretty well. But just barely kind of missed on the quick kill there. Alright, meteor wave dealing with Snake. This is going to be his final of the 8. Okay. Managed to kill Snake right in the middle of the screen, so that was good. He's going to have to walk here a little bit, but good fight. He didn't get any snakes. Snakes ended up lagging the game. I missed it. I know Prisi was going to go for the double slide in the ladder room, and I missed it. He's too fast. I planned to look over in time to catch it, but he just went too fast for me. Okay. Doc Gemini down. He did it. Okay, nice. That's a strat that Cool Kid came up with. Pretty recent. Nobody's really going for it in runs until recently. Oh, yeah. Meteor Wave showing just how difficult that first screen of Doc Gemini can be as he takes it at death. That is actually a really good place for a game over, though. Like he'd been skating on 0 lives for a long time, and if you die to a boss in game over, you go all the way back to the beginning. And here he dies in like one of the earlier pits in Doc Gemini, so the game over doesn't cost him much time. He's got a full complement of lives to deal with now. So that was actually pretty fortuitous. The timing on these magnets is really tricky. Like basically you want to kill these guys like as they're spawning on the screen so they don't drop their fire, because if they do, then like you're gonna have to halt your movement to jump over it. But yeah, Meteor Wave manages the second half of that really well. Prisi does a little zip. Basically like if you slide into a tornado at the proper time, like you kind of zip through it. It was a tough airman pattern to deal with, and he got the shameful 3 cycle. This is a really difficult section right here, and I'm wondering if Prisi thought about using an E-Tank here. He has 1 health. Deaths in the second half of Doc Needle are very costly. Like, obviously, the later you die, the more costly it is, but, like, dying towards the end of Doc Needle is about the worst, like, one of the worst deaths you can take in this game. Probably costs close to a minute. Oof! Okay. Basically, like, as I talked about before with the screen wrap damage, or like it reading your hitbox on the box on the bottom. If you're jumping off the top of the screen when there's an enemy there, you can take damage. And obviously, being at 1 health, any hit will kill him here. So he's got to be careful. Okay, just has 1 more enemy to navigate here, and he'll survive it. Cool. Good job. Very clutch by Prisi there. Let's see. So Meteor Wave has managed a solid Doc Gemini stage here. coming up on Doc Bubble. So Bubble has 3 patterns. He can shoot 1, 2, or 3 bubbles. Obviously, one's going to be the fastest because there's less lag when he does that. So Meteor gets the 1 bubble pattern here. And the fight goes a lot faster that way. And he manages to kill him in the center, so nice fight. Just missed, like, you know, a hit or 2 in there, but well executed otherwise. Prisi gets the nice jump to the ladder there. When you exit a slide tunnel there, like, you have this really small window to actually jump from there, rather than, like, falling off. And so he was able to jump to the ladder, which saves, like, a half second or so. Prisi getting into the Metal Man fight. Again, like, you're trying to kill him while, like, traversing some distance to the right. The thing is, if you cross the halfway point here, like, Metal Man will actually, like, go to the left, which usually slows you down. So you try to end, like, somewhere in the middle, which does a good job of. So it looks like I miss if meteorwave went for the Doc Shadow music despawn, but it looks like he didn't. Oh man, it looks like either he didn't or he didn't get it, because he was definitely, you could just tell by looking at his screen how much extra slowdown he was dealing with. And then, like, dealing with those platforms there is definitely one of the easiest places to die, especially like when you're, you know, kind of novice with this game. Those platforms have, like, really tricky timing, and then dealing with all the slowdown that's going on is not easy at all. So Quickman is this is a really fun fight to practice. It's tricky. There's a lot of different things he can throw at you. Prisi doesn't miss many hits there, but he wasn't able to really manipulate him into the middle. Ends up killing him in the corner, which is slower, obviously, but solid fight otherwise. But yeah, once you kind of meteorwave using Jet here this time, which I would definitely recommend to, unless you practice the screen a lot. Jet's a really safe way to traverse that. If you're going to do that, you probably want to switch to Needle, so that, because Needle can kill these guys just the same as Buster, and then you know, cut out a menu. Okay, so Prisi's through 16, kills Breakman, is going into Wily 1. Still on really good pace, deathless so far. So this wood fight is really difficult. He does a ton of damage. Basically, the Leaf Shield and Woodman himself do 8. And so by doing that fight, like, properly, you're taking 16 damage, which makes Doc Shadow a very difficult stage. You're just at risk of running out of health if you do, like, anything incorrectly. Prisi goes for a nice slide across the spikes there, taking a damage boost, getting knocked and using his invincibility frames to slide across. Did that also in Doc Gemini. End up saving a lot of times. Again, you know, in this game, always be sliding. We see how great of a weapon Magnet is, because we see both runners using it in different areas. Like, a lot of times in Mega Man, you switch to a weapon because that's the boss fight coming up, so you just make use of it. But in this case, they were both using Magnet in an area where you only use Magnet just because of its utility in the stage. Right? Meteor manages the Heatman kill. So let's see what kind of turtle luck Prisi gets. So he gets the second worst turtle there, and the second best. So he's got an average pattern so far. That was the second worst. That's the worst. Okay, and then the best. So it was slightly below average. He got the mixed bag there. He got one of every type of turtle. There's 4 different release points he can have, and so he got one of each, and then a semi-slow one. All right. So another stage that, like, gives a lot of people trouble. I mean, the Doc robots are just difficult in general. We see a little bit of a strat difference here. Meteorwave switching to Jet. You see some people switch to Coil, but I've recommended that, like, if you want the E-Tank and Needle, just switch to Jet right away. because then you can use Jet to get this E-tank here and not have to cost yourself a menu. Prisi with a solid Wily 2. He's going to go for this Yellow Devil kill. Yellow Devil has no invincibility frames. He keeps his eye open for a short period of time, and if you can get 10 shots in during that time, you'll kill him. Otherwise, you have to wait for him to do this again, and you lose 18 seconds. So the setup here is just so you have to only hold up. He gets 8 hits on the first jump. What a mashing god. Great fight. Easy. When you're getting 6 hits on the first jump, that's when you should start to feel confident that like you should be getting Devil every time. But if you're getting 7 or 8, your mashing is way beyond what you need to get that. So Meteor Wave going through this jumping section. He actually despawned a Dragonfly there, and despawned another one. That's really good. Not only do you not have to worry about them, that's another one. Very good. You don't have to worry about the screen wrap damage, but also removing them from the screen reduces slowdown. It's interesting because you look at a screen where all you do is go to the top of the screen with Jet and just jump over and over. And it looks like it should be really simple, but there's actually a lot of time that can be saved in screens like that in this game. Okay, so Meteor Wave doesn't get the snake kill on the giant net. Personally, I would recommend switching to Shadow Blade in that case, because you can throw one diagonally up at him, and you don't have to go to Jet and then back to Snake. But, Jet works too, it's just a little bit slower. See if he's able to get the second one. You have to get really close to him without running into him. It's kind of tricky. Okay, well, that works too. He's going to have to just collect this health here, but he should be fine. Prisi getting into the refights, this is probably the stage that I don't know if he's put the most work into this one, but he's put a lot. And he has some of the prettiest refights you'll see. Gets 2 out of 3 on the 2-frame jumps. So he has kind of unique strats for a lot of these fights. He's worked out strats that other people don't do that are a little faster. So like the snake strat here, oh, he missed. Basically, like he can avoid damage on every pattern. Except there, he took like the maximum amount of damage. So he's gonna probably E-tank here. Never fails, you talk up something. See if he, okay. Doesn't go for the hard knuckle switch in the top man room. Let's see here. Curious what strat he goes for here. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like a modified version of what Vison goes for there. And then this is a refight that Prisi himself came up with, and actually you see a lot of people use now. It's really fast. So Meteor Wave is using the Gemini laser in the first half of Doc Spark here. There's a couple different options. You can use Gemini or you can use Shadow Blade. A lot of people that use Shadow Blade are ones that want to use Gemini laser for the quick man fight, because Gemini has a bigger hitbox. Nice magnet fight. Good RNG there. He has actually another strat for the magnet fight that he didn't go for there. Okay. I'm sure Prisi's not happy with that refights, but he gets through. And again, very solid pace. We're still looking at a low 35. He's just made he just had a really clean run with no major mistakes. He's gonna end up with a very good time. Oh, nice. Meteor Wave jumped over a spark. But typically you despawn that spark by like letting it scroll itself off the screen. But if you're not going to do that, jumping over it like that is not super easy to do. That was nice. Prisi's gonna, he's gonna use 2 lag snakes there. So he shoots the lag snakes to the right, which is a little faster than what most people do when they shoot them, which is to the left. They stay on screen longer and cause a little bit more lag, which makes that kill easier. But he just misses it, switches to Shadow Blade. He was 1 hit short. So yeah, Meteor gonna use Snake here. I recommend a lot of people switch to Snake in the fight so you can see what kind of jump he does. Here you want to take hits from the boomerangs and not from the body, but meteorwave doing a good job of like laying a lot of hits in. So yeah, he's gonna kill Quick before Quick kills him. And then prisi, since he's doing Rockman 3 instead of Mega Man 3, is going to have invincibility frames to do this quick kill on Gamma, where you can just topspin him right in his face. So GG prisi, that's a good run. First run of the tournament, low 35. That's a very, very good time. All right, meteorwave done with his 16 and his Breakman fight. Looking like he's not too far off his own PB pace as well. Don't have his splits up, but just based on where he is and what his PB is, I think he's looking to be not too far off. Shout outs to IBM computers. I'm curious what meteorwave does for the first screen here. The old strat here was to use Gemini laser to kill these first couple guys. Okay, so he's doing the damage boost strat. This was popularized by Ohan in his 34:57 world record. He deboosted right through those guys rather than doing the extra menu and switching to laser. meteorwave being particularly careful about his slides here in this section. Obviously, there's a lot of places you can die with spikes everywhere, and then the water physics being a little weird. He manages to get through unscathed. Most people go for the magnet switch here. We'll see what meteorwave chooses to do. Typically, you would want to switch to it before this. Oh, he's going for Gemini laser. Okay. Gemini's an interesting choice. Your weapons don't refill in between stages, so having Gemini laser used there means he's probably not going to kill Gemini with his own weapon. There's actually a lot of different ways you can route weapon usage in the refights. So my guess is he's probably planning on fighting Gemini Man with Snake or something like that. So I think we saw prisi using Shadow Blade here. Shadow Blade's a slightly faster strat only because of the menu. It one-shots the turtles either way. Top's a lot easier to save time with, just because you can ram yourself into the body of the turtle rather than like having to time a shot like around whirlpools and stuff like that. So like top spin is definitely something that just about everybody should use. That's been the strat there forever. Solid fight there for meteorwave. Wily 2 is a particularly scary stage just because there's no checkpoint. Like, if you die to the Yellow Devil, you go all the way back to the start. And then you have, like, all of these, like, perilous jumps with, like, places where you can't take your time because there's, like, enemies snapping at you from below. There's, like, spike pits you have to jump over. There's bees being dropped on you, which are just a horrible enemy. But you can see, like, if you don't slide and you use your Shadow Blade properly, like, you can get through that section without, you know, too much hassle. And then this stage rewards you with a couple E-Tanks. Wily stage is just pretty generous in general with E-Tanks. Like, there's one in Wily 1, there's two in Wily... Well, actually, there's more than one in Wily 1, but there's one, like, right in your way if you want to get it. Two in Wily 2, one in Wily 3. So the game, like, really kind of holds your hand through the end game after, like, the dock robots just punish you. Like, most people's blind play through the game, like, just gets completely halted in the dock robots. His setup here is a little interesting. Okay, he was just going there to save damage, and this is going to be a tough 2-cycle. You want to try to get 5 hits there using that strat. Like, you're kind of just standing, like, at his feet and just, like, mashing diagonally up at him. So he's probably going to want to E-Tank here. Okay. It's weird because, like, the different parts of Yellow Devil deal varying amount of damage. And it's like, you're never sure, like, exactly how safe you are. Sometimes you'll just take, like, an 8 damage hit, depending on, like, where you're standing. But yeah, it doesn't take the death there. That again is like one of the Rush Marine probably not going to help here. That's one of the, like, the most punishing deaths you can take, so I'm glad he got through that. This is KLM's favorite screen right here. Wily 3 just a particularly, like, awkward stage, because, like, you can't go too fast because those grenades explode on you, so you have to, like, shoot them from a distance, and, like, there's really, like, awkward terrain that you have to get through. And then, like, these guys, like, if you're used to sliding under them, they don't do, like, I don't know, it seems like the timing is tighter on jumping under those guys. I think maybe they bonk their heads against the ceiling or something, but it seems like you have, like, a smaller window to get under them. Meteorwave gets through the Frogger screens. See if he goes for Snake or if he opts for... Okay, it looks like he's going to try to do the quick kill here, which I didn't get a chance to talk about earlier. Basically, like, this game doesn't let you pause with the weapon on the screen. He got it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, good job. It doesn't let you pause with a weapon on the screen, but with Rush, it doesn't make that check. So you can actually pause with a bullet on the screen, switch to another weapon, and have that bullet take on the properties of that weapon. So in this case, he's switching to Top, and it pierces through him, which Topspin does, and does damage to him on every frame until he dies. Like, people think that Topspin is his weakness. It actually, I mean, it is only in the sense that bosses in the castle stages don't have invincibility frames. So that's what Topspin does. Like, if you were to just Topspin him, he would die, like, right away. But you can get a partial hit with it. It's just that it's doing damage every frame. Snake is his actual weakness there. Topspin is just coded in such a way that, like, it's super powerful against, like, anything that's weak to it that doesn't have invincibility frames. One shot's like half the enemies in this game. So Meteorwave going for the standard refight route that was again popularized by Ohan, who, like, hasn't done a lot of runs of this game, but has brought a lot of strats to it because he kind of has a mind for routing, and he found this refight route that is different than what was done previous. But the idea behind the refight route is minimizing the amount of menuing you have to do, and also so Meteorwave being very careful with his topspin. You can tell, like, he knows how to not get the topspin drain. But yeah, you wanna minimize the amount of menuing that you have to do. This is going to be like a slight departure. This is actually, like, if you were to run out of topspin, this is the route that I would recommend. You switch to Shadow Blade and then do this and Magnet. The reason why you want to switch to Shadow last, typically, is because it's on a different page than all the other weapons that you use. However, if I'm right about him using Snake on Gemini, it would make sense to go to Shadow here because Snake's on the second page as well. So what he's probably going to do is, after this fight, switch to Snake and go down and fight Gemini. We'll see here, though. Nope. So he's gonna go. So he's gonna end up with, like, an extra page turn, an extra couple page turns out of this, because he's gonna go to Gemini. We'll see. Maybe he's gonna fight. I'm actually not sure. Let's see. Does he have it? Oh, he has enough Gemini laser for this. Okay. Well then, no, he doesn't. Okay, so he does go to Snake. So you can see, like, there's some kind of routing involved into how you want to do the refights. Because, like, he changed page to go to Snake, and now he's going to change pages again to go to Magnet to fight Hardman. So just little things like that. Said he's looking really close to his PB right now. Again, if his PB is still, like, I think I wanted to say it was a high 45. If that PB is still accurate, like, if he doesn't beat it, he's going to probably be within, like, 15 to 20 seconds of it looks like. Gets the 2 cycle. He gets frozen here. A lot of people wonder why that happens. Basically, if you're still in that punching animation when Top Man dies, it takes a little while for it to go away. So what you want to do is you want to shoot it so that it has to travel a little bit. So, like, don't make the hard knuckle appear in Top Man's hitbox. Shoot it from like a little further, let it travel, and you won't get frozen at the end there. See if meteorwave goes for the spark strats here. No, he's going for snake. Okay. There's a couple different things you can do here. You can try to go for snake for the quick kill. That's kind of an advanced strat. We've seen a lot of people use snake for the first half and then jet the second half. If they don't trust their mashing here. Okay, so yeah. He's going to go to jet and finish it off. If you're going to do jet in the second phase, spark's not a bad choice in the first phase. Because it will kill him in 4 hits, and you can do it from a distance, so you don't have to get right up underneath him. But jet strat's pretty solid here for the second half. You can see that it's really safe. You're not going to die from out there, so solid. It's like we're looking at something like a mid 46. So meteorwave being on the US version, we've seen a couple different kills from people on the US version. He might use jet, or he might use the same strategy you see in Wily 3, where he shoots a topspin bullet for the second phase. No matter what, I haven't seen anybody not use Shadow for the first half. Like, I think he's also weak to Hard Knuckle, but Shadow is just a way better way to fight him here. And let's see, it's going to be Coil, Jet? Okay, he's going for Jet. This is 1990 strats right here. Like, as a kid, this is definitely how I did it. Like, just following him from the top spin him. GG. That is a race PB for meteorwave. Nice mid 46. Again, like 30 seconds or so, like less than a minute off of his PB. So anytime you can do that in a race, that's a really solid race. And that's his fastest race ever. So congrats to meteorwave. So we have I'm going to take a look at the bracket real quick. So basically that puts Prisi to 1-0. That ties him with Andy and 4H at the top of the bracket. Drops meteorwave to 0-2. This is a 4-person bracket, so actually pretty loaded bracket. Andy, Prisi, Great John, meteorwave, all really solid Mega Man 3 runners. We have a couple more races today. I'm not sure. Give me a sec. So there's 2 more races. I'm not sure if one of them got moved, because basically there was one that was supposed to start like 24 minutes ago. I don't know if that ended up getting going on SRL, or if they decided to move it back, or if it's just not being restreamed. But there's another one that was supposed to start on this channel in about 5 minutes. So coming up here, we have Inea and KLM. I'm trying to look and see if the other one got moved or not. I don't see the other one on SRL. I do see Darko in this race channel, and he was the one that was supposed to be in the race that started like 25 minutes ago. So maybe they're going to do a quad. Anyway, I'm going to mute while we figure this out, but I'm assuming we might be starting a quad box race here. So just hang on, we're definitely going to have more Mega Man action coming up soon.